Welcome to Black Love and Cinema with Manny and Jess, where we break down love and relationships through the lens of our favorite movies. My name is Jessica.
My name is Mansell.
So today, as part of our countdown to Christmas, we are reviewing the 2018 film The Holiday Calendar, starring Kat Brown, Quincy Brown, and Ethan Peck. The Holiday Calendar is a movie about a young lady who receives an advent calendar from her grandfather. He seems to allude to its magical properties, and as she uses this calendar, she thinks it's predicting her future. In the meantime, her best friend, who had been long gone traveling, fulfilling his photography dreams, returns home and he's spending all this time with her. And he seems to have an interest in her that she is completely unaware of. But unfortunately, she thinks her future is pointing to someone else. So while we were watching this film, two things occurred to us what this movie is about, and they are very different ideas. So,
Right.
what stood out to you about this movie?
My take on it is looking at the perspective of Josh trying to get himself out of the friend zone. So he basically is the best friend. They have their own little chemistry. They got their little routines and their little signature moves and all that stuff. And he is stuck in the friend zone. And it's some part is on her doing, but a lot of it I think is on his own doing.
And what stood out to me about this movie is how Abby was leaning heavily on this advent calendar to predict her future, all the while missing what was right in front of her. And so we are going to do this sort of off the cuff, just so you can see our perspective on this thing. We said in our first Christmas movie we weren't going to ruin the Christmas magic.
The holiday magic.
But to keep in line with the vision of Black Love and Cinema, we are going to provide some guidance for you, but this time it's going to be kind of lighthearted and just give you our different perspectives using stories from our own life. So you want to dive into the friend zone thing? What did Josh do? What was his issue? And what could he have done differently? And what advice do you have for people
trying to navigate the friend zone? Okay, so the first part was he didn't really speak up for himself and say what he felt to her. He just kind of let things play out. He was forthcoming in trying to create moments with her. So
I think you should give some examples from the scene.
Okay.
Some people may not have seen this.
Right. So there's a scene where he
Or you
was
could just say there are several situations where he whatever.
okay. There's several situations throughout the film where he could have easily spoke up and said something about how he felt about her, but he didn't. Mainly because she was pretty much flattered by this other character that come into play, and instead of speaking up to seize the moment, he kind of let her do her thing in that way, all the while still trying to pursue her without saying something. One thing that he did do right was when she stood him up in one instance, he did voice his opinion and said, "Hey, this is not you. You're not being yourself," which he honestly should have did. But like
he voiced that as a friend, though.
He did.
Really.
Yeah, he did. He did voice that as a friend. And what's funny is his roommate basically was trying to push him to do the thing that he needed to do, which was to say something, but he just never would do it. And I don't know if it was out of fear of rejection or just out of fear of changing the dynamics of their friendship if it was a no. But in either way, he did not choose to take advantage of that. Now, how that relates to me, because we're doing this thing on a personal advice and how we navigated through things or how we navigate through our lives in different situations. When it comes to the friend zone, an example I have is kind of with you and I. So at one point, we got to a point in our relationship where we had to decide where we were going to go. We let each other know our intentions, which was good. But at the time, I had to make a decision on whether or not I wanted to be serious about our relationship or not. You had gone off, you were out of town, and you were basically talking about how you were trying to find somebody. And you were like, hey, I'm at this thing. There's some
fine people.
Yeah, there's some nice looking people
I'm not
here.
playing with you.
Like, I know you and I had kind of talked about some stuff, but if this is not working, let me know so I can go move on and find.
No, I did not say this is not working because I couldn't have cared less.
Yeah, you was like, I'm
I
not.
was letting you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is my intention.
Yes.
And I'm in an environment with people who, at least on a surface level, seem to share my values, my beliefs, and they're actively pursuing those things, which is very important for a relationship. On top of the fact that they're attractive.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be tied down to you based on some fantasy I have about whether you want to be with me or not.
Correct.
So I need you to let me know today. Actually, I said, how would you feel if I started talking to other people?
And so at first I hesitated, and because I felt like she was in a space to where she could do what she wanted anyway, and being the type of be like, well, I'm not going to tell you how to be because I'm not that kind of dude. I'm not telling you, oh no, you're mine. I was leaning towards, okay, well, you're free to do what you want. But then I got conviction in me and I was like, no, I really want to be with you. And so I expressed myself and I said, hey, no, I don't want you to talk to nobody. I said, it's you and me. And I expressed that to you. And I'm thankful that I did that every day.
He didn't want me to marry nobody from Chocolate City. That's what that was.
That's correct. I wanted to marry Chocolate City.
So that's the thing. Is throughout the film, Josh he fumbled it.
He fumbled.
And the thing is, he was a really great friend.
Right.
There's no question. And there's nothing wrong with that because I think some of the best relationships are formed from solid friendships, which is what we had.
Yes.
But there has to come a time where you have that conversation. And the conversation won't be had until someone expresses interest that sort of divests from just a straight up friendship context.
Right.
So we talked about that a lot in detail in our video on love and basketball. It's a long one, but we get into some nitty gritty details to help you figure out how to navigate that conversation. Josh didn't do that. And we don't know why, but if he had taken the initiative, I think that Abby would have made some different decisions. Her grandpa, like true to Christmas magic form, kind of alluded to it having some sort of magical powers, which of course she dismissed.
It brought him and his grandmother together.
Yeah, him and his wife together.
Yep.
The thing was, she basically just took it as a reminder of her grandmother and as an inheritance, if you will. But she didn't think anything of it. And initially, for the first few days, because if any of you aren't familiar, an Advent calendar is supposed to be representation counting down to the Advent of Christ. In this case, because it's Christmas, it's his first Advent, like his first coming to earth. And so it's basically a countdown to his coming is what it's traditionally for. But now it's become more commercialized and it's usually associated with countdown to Christmas, so they give you gifts. So she has this calendar, and the first few days it opens. She was intrigued by the fact that it opened, like, whoa, this is weird. But she didn't think nothing of it until she finally saw some connections between what little gifts were in the calendar and what was happening in her life. And so then it became sort of like a low-key obsession for her, like, okay, what's gonna happen? Like, she was looking at these things as sort of like signs.
Right.
Like kind of like someone would look at a horoscope or whatever.
Yes.
Like universe. Whatever.
Keep going.
The universe is pointing her a certain direction. And so it points to this guy played by Ethan Peck named Ty.
Mm-hmm.
He, has all the, at least on the surface, he seems to be this ideal guy.
Most eligible bachelor.
Yeah, like her sister said, he's the most eligible bachelor and he's interested in you. Like, whoa. And so she gets involved with this dude. In the meantime, Josh is in the background observing it, friend zoning himself.
Yes.
And literally everything that happens, everything she sees matches up with this calendar. And so when I was watching this movie, I was like, dang, I remember that. I remember when I used to look for signs. And there was a particular instance in my life which was a hot mess. I remember distinctly asking God for a sign because I had a really huge crush on this person. Oh, excuse me. This is, how do I put this? I'm a little uncomfortable. The chair is getting old. So I remember in particular, I had a really huge crush on this person. Thought he was like ideal, and probably like everybody thought about Ty. He was most eligible bachelor. He was climbing the ladder corporately. He super duper tall, super intelligent, all the different things, handsome. And I was like, man, that right there, I got to have it. And I interacted with him a few times during work and everything like that, but there was never anything deep. And I was at this point in this particular period of my life where I was doing a lot of praying and fasting, and I was engaging in a lot of spiritual activities. I'm not trying to sound creepy like I was out here doing tarot cards and calling psychics. I mean, like, really, it's technically spiritual disciplines.
Yes.
And so I felt like, unlike Josh, I was going to shoot my shot. And that was something that I was known to do anyway.
Okay.
And so, but I needed a sign this time because I didn't want to be rejected and humiliated. And so I remember distinctly asking God for a sign. And lo and behold, the very day that I asked for it, I got what appeared to be a sign. So then another day I asked for a sign. Lo and behold, just like Abby seeing this in her calendar, I got what appeared to be another sign. And so in one day I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna let him know I'm like really interested. And did all the romantic things, whatever, like meet me at sunset at the park or whatever type of thing. Told him what I'd be wearing, all of that. And guess what? He never came. So I stayed for a while. Like, I didn't just sit there for 15 minutes. I think I sat there for about an hour.
Wow.
Waiting for this person because I was convinced I got all these signs. I've been doing all this praying. I've been doing all this fasting. I've been doing all the spiritual things that some of these people out here tell you to do to find a spouse outside of the practical stuff, right?
Right.
And he didn't come. He didn't come 15 minutes late. He didn't come. He never showed up. And so after that, I was like, okay. For me, it was finished.
Right.
I just let it go. And all these signs turned out to be deceptions. And for me, that it was not just a deception. It wasn't like external deception. I didn't see it that way. I felt like I deceived myself. I saw what I wanted to see. And I feel like that's what happens with a lot of people, not just women, but I think women are more inclined to be this way.
Okay.
You deceive yourself. You see what you want to see. And instead of just taking time to discern the situation, really look at the objective reality of the situation, really look at what's actually going on in your interactions and really seeing what kind of person this is and how you really vibe, you tell yourself that, well, God told me, or some prophet told me, or some psychic medium, divination, whatever you believe in, told me, or the universe told me. I saw a star, the stars aligned, the horoscope said, da 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 da. And you end up deceiving yourself. And unfortunately, I've seen it where it's developed into limerence, which is a tragedy.
And you'll have to do a whole separate
Limerence.
thing on Limerence. We'll pick
Yes.
a movie and you'll do that.
Yes. It's a whole tragedy. But the problem with limerence in a lot of these cases, particularly when people feel like they got some supernatural sign, is they stay there for years. And because they believe truly God, universe, whoever told them, this is your person. And thank God that didn't happen to me. But after that happened, I was like, you know what? It's going to be practical or nothing. So the only signs I would be looking for would be pragmatic signs. Did he call you? Did he do what he said he was going to do? Did he actually ask you out on a date? Did he tell you he was interested? When you asked him a question about where this relationship going, did he respond in an affirmative way, letting you know what? I do want to be with you. I don't want you to be with anyone else. Stop playing games with yourself. Stop telling yourself stories about someone being interested in you. Stop believing the lies that the man you're supposed to be with is a man that's not even available. He's never spoken to you. He's never expressed interest in you. He ain't never asked you out. He barely looks at you, acknowledges you. And God forbid, the man's involved with somebody else. You don't need a sign. You just need to take action. And some people may be against that.
Right.
Thinking women shouldn't take action. I don't buy that. I think you should be forthcoming and direct, at least about your own intentions and desires. But looking for a sign was a tragedy. So this movie unfolds basically where Abby realizes that they could have done this better, but I get what they was trying to do. She realizes that all the while the signs were actually pointing to Josh. And so they did like a montage trying to show it, but they failed.
How it unfolded actually versus what she thought it was.
Yeah. And so even though Ty seemed to be what it was pointing to, those were the most obvious signs.
Yes.
The more subtle sign was Josh all along.
Right. And I'm going to add something to that. So, not saying that there can't be any magical moments between someone that you meet, because I think that's where you see your division in the two things. She was perceiving something a certain way, not realizing that there was someone there that was actually interacting with her with shared values and knowledge of her, who was creating moments.
Yeah.
So whether he invited her out with friends or whether he made sure she was taken care of when she got hurt, or all these things, that he was actually taking action steps to show that he cared, whereas she was perceiving this other person was just doing these, it was just meant to be based off of these random things that was coming up.
Oh, okay. I like that. Because, like, yeah, she didn't even take the time to see who Ty really was.
No.
Somebody else had to tell her.
Yes. And so in the same breath of that, to use an example for us, would be our song. Now, so not saying that it's not it was a magical moment for us, but that's based off of, we had a shared value and we learned. And because we learned something about each other, it made it a magical moment in itself.
It forged a real connection that kind of built from there.
Correct. And it wasn't just a random sign. It was, here, this is something I'm interested in. And then we learned that we each had a value of something together, and it displayed itself in a song that neither one of us would have even guessed.
The weirdest thing ever.
Yes.
The weirdest thing ever. And the thing was, neither one of us were looking for a sign.
No.
We were just talking, like a casual conversation. I literally don't know how this came up. And then we found out he mentioned the song to me, and I don't think I knew the song.
So I was coming to give you some paperwork or something, and I heard you were listening to classical music. And
no, you didn't hear my classical music.
No, you had classical music on. Because I was the one that was like, oh, you like listening? Because for me, it keyed in, like, not a lot of people, are really listening to a lot of classical music. Now, there might be a lot of Black folks out there that do like classical music, but I have not come across those people. Usually it's like jazz or something like that.
That's not what happened. You're talking about opera.
Yes. And then I said, I like opera. And you were like, whatever. She didn't believe that I liked opera.
No, we were literally just talking
about music
after a meeting.
Yes.
And we started talking about opera.
Yes.
You didn't learn about that classical song until you sent me the song from Aretha Franklin.
No.
And I was like, oh, I've been listening to this song on my classical. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Correct.
So that's why I sent it to you.
But no, we were just talking about music in general.
Yeah.
And we brought up opera. But I said initially you didn't believe I liked opera.
Yeah, and then you told me.
And I was like, no, here's the song. Listen to it. And I sent it to you. Yes. And that's where we.
So I corrected your story. I was right.
Okay.
And then after that, I sent you the classical, because I told you, I was like, oh, I didn't know that was the name of this song. Well, I was like, it's one of my favorite songs in the classical.
Right.
But the point was, we weren't looking for a sign.
No.
It just unfolded like that, and it still wasn't a sign.
No, it was just a shared value.
It was a shared interest that allowed us to keep the conversation going and build a greater friendship. And we learned more and more and more things that were just really odd.
That we really liked.
Like, we are like super in sync. It's really strange.
It is.
And then.
But that's the difference between looking for a sign and actually talking to someone and interacting with them and figuring out that you have shared interest and values.
That part. Exactly. Because it's like you don't need a sign if you're actually talking to somebody and getting to know somebody. And if they're not talking to you, they're not pursuing you, they haven't expressed interest. I don't care what stars say. I don't care what the Cosmic whatever magazine say.
Right.
The sign is he's not that into you.
And so to flip that even more so, and to flip that even more so, from your side to my side, if you notice someone in your friend zone that you guys have similar interests and this person seems like they might want to say something, you might want to shoot your shot with that person because that person may be hiding out this whole time thinking they don't have a chance and you looking at them not knowing. Not saying that you got to.
You talking about Abby should have asked Josh?
No, I'm saying if Abby should have realized that from the get-go.
No, because that's the thing. She only saw him in one context. So she would not have.
Right.
Naturally, she wouldn't have asked him.
So then if you in the friend zone.
You need to get yourself out of it.
Yes, you need to shoot your shot. And the worst that happen is they say, nah, I'm good as friends.
But at least now you know.
At least now you know.
And you don't need no signs.
And absolutely. But you still have shared interests with them.
Yeah. So I think it comes down, you said something that I feel like we should highlight though. I forgot what it was.
It was about the perception versus the interests.
I don't remember, I lost it.
I'm sorry.
But it comes down to like I don't know. I guess the bottom line is if you're in a position where you find yourself interested in somebody and you've been friends, then you have to have the audacity to ask, to bring up that discussion about becoming more than friends. But you also need to be clear about what that means to you. Go watch our review on Love and Basketball to see what we're talking about.
Yes.
But if you are someone who's inclined to looking for signs in whatever way you tend to do it, I think it's imperative that you be more practical and look for the evidence of interest. In this case, Josh provided plenty of evidence that he was interested, but her eyes were set on seeing signs. So she couldn't see the evidence because she was distracted by what she thought was signs. But if she looked at the evidence, she would know Josh has been here all along, being this way, treating me this way. His character is this way. His mindset, his attitude is this way. He regards and affirms me a certain way. She couldn't see that. But if you get more practical, it's not to say that what you believe about something outside of yourself is invalid, but you avoid limerence and all the concomitant pain that comes with that by acknowledging the reality. Does this person have good character? Do they even talk to me? Do they know I exist? Have they ever asked me out? When they did ask me out, if they did, how did it really go? Like, are you caught up on the idea of being with them, or are you able to actually see who they really are? And when you realize that and you realize what kind of person they really are and how you really vibe, that's where the magic happens. The magic doesn't happen with an advent calendar or an astrology or anything. The magic happens in real, genuine connection.
Yeah.
And it keeps happening when you intentionally build that connection for the lifetime of your relationship.
That's a great point.
Yeah. So we encourage you, if you in the friend zone box and you don't want to be there, go for it.
Take a chance.
And if you're looking at signs and you think it really is pointing to somebody, take a chance.
Yeah.
But look at the reality. If you take a chance and they don't show up to the park, that's your reality. Keep it moving.
All right. This is Black Love and Cinema. Stay black.
We gonna work on that.
Yes.